Hello, how are you doing? My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins. I'm your friendly neighborhood finance professor. Today I want to talk about SPACs. SPACs are special purpose acquisition companies, and I want to explain to you and hopefully help you understand why SPACs are a sucker's investment and why why SPACs exist, why they're pushing them out there to the public, and why their goal is to make as much money off you as possible. So if you are smart and you don't want to be a financial sucker, stick around and we can talk about SPACs and why I believe you should avoid investing in SPACs, or at the very least, why I don't invest in them. So buckle up your seatbelt, get comfortable, hit the thumbs up button. We're gonna get started on the Black Financial Channel right now. Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to the Black Financial Channel. That's theblackfinancialchannel.com. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins. What's going on, everybody? I see Nathaniel Lockridge and Brad Alex. Brad Alex is asking who wants to get paid through a Cash App. Brad, it looks like you're spamming my chat. You can't do that. Twan Burgess, William Williams, how you doing? Terry Cobb, good to see you, brother. Emel Marcos, what's up with the Vietnam dong? I don't know. I gotta look it up. Cheryl Hall, Latoya Young, Linda Merriweather, and Jacinta Husky. I just want to say hi to everybody. And also don't forget that we talk about wealth on this platform every day, several times a day, but we do it from a Black perspective. So if that's not cool with you, then you should probably go somewhere else. But if you like Black people and you care about the Black community and you care about Black wealth, then hang out with us. I'll put a hashtag B1 in the chat and also hit the thumbs up, share, subscribe button. And if you haven't gotten started on investing and you want to learn how, there's a free training that I put together for you at firstshareofstock.com. The URL is right there on the screen. All right. So Jolanda McLaughlin. Oh, that's a nice name. You know why that's a nice name? Because I'm going to get married very soon. And the lady I'm marrying, that's her last name, actually. But I'm about to change that last name. So, she's going to be a Watkins pretty soon. So there will be two Dr. Watkinses in my family, but actually three. My sister's Dr. Watkins, too. So we just smart Black people over here. All right. So here's what I want to break down for you. I want to talk about SPACs. Give me a yes or no. How many of you have ever heard of SPACs? Or know what they are? SPAC stands for Special Purpose Acquisition Companies. Give me a yes or no in the chat if you've heard of SPACs or seen SPACs. SPACs basically are this interesting investment instrument that is in contrast to the traditional IPO. An IPO, you probably know what an IPO is. If you don't, let me explain. IPO is initial public offering. That's when the company goes public and makes their shares available to the public. Well, a SPAC is a way to kind of get around the IPO process. It's basically what they call a blank check firm, where they raise a bunch of money, put it in escrow, and then they go and then they go public, and then they go look for a target to acquire. Now, here's the thing about SPACs. A lot of you've heard about it. SPACs were released. They've been released by a few Black people. I think that Martin Luther King Jr.'s son is part of a SPAC. Shaquille O'Neal was part of a SPAC. I wouldn't be surprised if other celebrities are part of SPACs. And SPACs have gotten a lot of attention. SPACs have raised tens of billions of dollars last year. In fact, I think they raised more money with SPACs than they've raised in the entire history of SPACs. And the interesting thing about SPACs is the reason that SPACs are doing so well is because people are really hungry to invest. A couple factors that tend to drive SPAC prices and what people are willing to pay for them is sort of the enthusiasm of investors in terms of what the market and economic conditions are, and also what they call the risk appetite of investors. Investors do not. They're not afraid of losing money right now. They're walking the tightrope and they're not scared to fall. So a lot of SPACs are making money hand over fist. They are making so much money for the insiders that create these SPACs that it's ridiculous. Well, SPACs have actually come under scrutiny lately. And the reason is because, unfortunately, even though the insiders of these SPACs, the originators, what they call the sponsors, the creators of these SPACs, are getting paid like crazy, the investors, the regular people, you and I, regular people who buy, after the company goes public, are getting spanked. You're getting spanked by the SPACs. The SPACs are losing money hand over fist. SPACs are a terrible investment. SPACs are tremendously overpriced. And most of the academic research supports the idea that SPACs are for suckers. SPACs are overhyped. And I'm going to kind of explain a little bit that to you in a second. If you could, do me a favor, hit the hit the thumbs up, share, subscribe button. Viral Wolf says SPACs sound like the GoFundMe for millionaires. That's not a bad way to look at it. It's not a bad way to look at it. I mean, think about how a GoFundMe account works. You have a story, and if the story's good, people buy your story. They give you money. You raise more money if your story is really compelling. And so you have people that go on GoFundMe and either over dramatize what they've gone through, or they just make something up and people put money into it. Well, SPACs are actually, that's a good comparison. And the reason I say that is because one of the criticisms that regulators have of SPACs, which were designed to get around regulatory scrutiny, they were designed to avoid the radar of the authorities, right? Anybody trying to hide from the popos, there's a good chance they might be up to no good, right? So these companies are trying to avoid regulatory scrutiny, and they're allowed to do certain things that IPOs are not, that IPOs don't allow you to do. For example, when these companies go public, founders have been accused of hyping up the numbers and just lying, just flat out. You ever see where you ever see where somebody like starts a business and they swear to you that the business is going to make $100 million in 2 years. I remember one time I had a young lady that came to intern for me. She was at Spelman. She was a real smart young lady, and it was really funny because I said, "So what are your goals in life?" And because first thing she said was, she said, "I don't think I can come and work with you." And I said, "Well, why not?" And she said, "Because I have big goals." I said, "Well, what are your goals?" And she said, "I want to be as rich as Oprah in 2 years." And I said, "What?" And she said, "Yeah, I think I can have as much money as Oprah by the time I'm 22 years old." And I didn't want to tell the little girl that that wasn't possible, because I don't believe in the word impossible. I believe I'm possible. I believe that you can do anything you put your mind to. But man, you are testing the limits of everybody's imagination with that one. You at Spelman, my lord, the women at Spelman are as brilliant as they come. But to be as rich as Oprah, it's like, you do know it took Oprah 40 years to become Oprah, as rich as Oprah is right now. You knew that took a while. And it didn't matter. It didn't matter. And poor thing, I think she dropped out of school, got pregnant, and 10 years later, I heard from her again. I don't think she made Oprah money, but I'm sure she's doing fine. I'm sure she's a great mom. But anyway, my point is to say SPACs remind me of that poor little girl who thought that she was going to be as rich as Oprah in 2 years. There are people that will lie to you when you listen to. One thing you got to be careful about is anybody's projections of how great their company is going to be. Nobody starts a company and says, "Oh yeah, well, we expect to lose money and we expect to be bankrupt, and we think we're going to do okay. We're not going to succeed at anything that we try to do, or maybe we're going to succeed 50% of the time." No, the projections are very, very, very optimistic. Just like every time I go to an event, I love hearing you guys' stories and hearing about the new businesses you create. But I swear, if I had a nickel for every time a Black person walked up to me and told me that they're starting a company that was going to make $1 billion, I would be a billionaire just off of that. But I just smile and say, "Gosh, I really hope you do that. Now let's go do the work. Show me the work. Call me 5 years from now when you made your first 10 million and you've been putting in the work, and then I'll know that you're serious. Right now, it's just kind of talk." Well, SPACs kind of make money off of hype. They release these reports that are super optimistic, that are completely ridiculous, that don't add up to logic, and investors that are not informed get duped. You see, in investing, remember I was telling you, there are the sharks and there are the fish. The sharks live on Wall Street. The fish are regular people, mom and pop folks who don't know a whole lot about investing. Well, if you think that the game is rigged, yeah, the game is rigged, because capitalism is designed for powerful, intelligent, and prepared people to take advantage of people who are not as powerful, not as prepared, who don't really know what's going on. So that's why you have things like the Securities and Exchange Commission and securities laws, which are designed to protect you from that. That's why you have disclosure laws. That's why you have laws that say that you got to tell us everything and anything. We're going to do an anal probe on your company and from every angle to make sure that you're not trying to pull a fast one on the American public. And those laws actually work. Those laws really do work. Again, the system ain't perfect, but this is one area where they do get it right. They make the companies disclose information. SPACs are designed to get around that. So, if you want my conclusion on SPACs, I would encourage you to be extremely, extremely careful, because SPACs are a sucker's investment. SPACs are an example where the sharks are taking advantage of the fish. SPACs are cases. Let me tell you how the sharks take advantage of the fish. Actually, I'm going to break that down for you in a minute. Do me a favor. Could you take this 1 second, please? Hit the thumbs up button. Hit the thumbs up, share, subscribe button if you have not done it yet. We're trying to build Black media, and we ain't got white people paying the bills, so we kind of need y'all to help us kind of grow. So if you could jump in. I mean, my God, if I were white, I wouldn't pay pay any of my bills. Why would any white company want to be a part of what we're doing? Because we're a little bit too we're a little bit too honest on this platform, but I don't mind it. We can get it. We can pay our own bills, but we can use your help just in terms of supporting. Hit the thumbs up button, share, subscribe button, and also something we're doing for free in the Black Business Schools. We're doing Black Movie Night on Thursday. We love to support Black filmmakers because we want to play a part in building a Black-owned movie industry. We're doing that right now. It's getting done. These movies are being seen by millions of people without the support of Hollywood. So we're checking out a film this week. Actually, it happens to be executive produced by Shaquille O'Neal, and it's called Steps. And you get to watch it for free on Thursday. Just go to blackmovienight.net and sign up. All right, so let's keep going. All right, so SPACs in a way are kind of they remind me of crypto when crypto first kind of emerged as a big thing around 2016, 2017. And remember back with crypto, you had people like Floyd Mayweather and different rappers and stuff like that that would get on social media and pump up a certain cryptocurrency. And then that ended up costing them big time. A lot of these people got investigated 2 years later when the crypto market crashed and lawsuits started getting filed. So a lot of SPACs are under that kind of scrutiny now. There are SPACs out here where investors put in big money, the company tanked, and people are going back and saying, "Hold up, what happened?" And the other thing too, here's what's interesting, right? In a way, it's kind of like, imagine this. Think about this, right? If you're a gangster, let's say you're a member of the mafia, or you're a Crip or a Blood, and let's say there's 10 of y'all, right? And y'all all doing dirt together, y'all all riding together, y'all all done got together and did a bank robbery, a drive-by, and you went and sold some dope, whatever y'all do, y'all all doing dirt together, and then the police come in and raid the building, right? And everybody walks away in handcuffs, right? Everybody's locked up, everybody's in trouble, right? But then you find out that even though you got a 80-year life sentence, Pookie got out 3 weeks later. Like, Pookie got out early, right? Pookie's back home with his family and he's doing okay, but you got an 80-year sentence. What's that going to make you say about Pookie? Somebody answer that in the chat for me. Give me a couple of words to tell me, what would that lead you to conclude about something that happened behind the scenes with Pookie? What would that make you think? Well, yeah, it would make you think Pookie was a snitch, right? That Pookie was a snitch. Maybe Pookie was an undercover officer. Maybe Pookie was, because he clearly wasn't in the same boat as all of y'all. He pretended that you were in the same boat, but you weren't in the same boat because Pookie went home and you got 80 years, right? That's kind of actually, honestly, that's actually when Freeway Ricky Ross talks about when they drop drugs in the Black community. That's what he says. He says, wait a minute, I got X number of years in prison, however many years it was. He said, my connect in Colombia, who gave me the dope, who supplied 100 times more dope than I did, he got 18 months. So he knew that guy was working with the feds, right? So what's my point in this? I know this is a colorful example, but it helps you get the point. SPACs are the same way, where the Pookies in the SPAC deal are the insiders who get in early on the deal. This is where SPACs become a Ponzi scheme, because here's what happens with SPACs. When SPACs are created, you have these people, they call them sponsors. I don't know if Martin Luther King Jr.'s son is part of this or what, but these insiders get these sweetheart deals where they get to buy their shares cheap. They get to get these things called warrants, which are similar to stock options. They're just longer term in nature. And basically this allows them to make money no matter what happens. So when the company goes public and you jumping in late, you showing up to the party late, you're doing like we did last week. Some of y'all make fun of me because we did our Dogecoin experiment. You guys, 76% of you told me to go buy Dogecoin and tell you what happened, what the results are, and we've lost like 30% of our investment, right? And you're like, boys, you bought too late, you jumped in too late. So yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe I should have been buying the Dogecoin when it was 5 cents, and I bought it at 38 cents, and now we all looking like suckers, right? But Dogecoin is not a serious investment. It's not a real asset. So please don't even think that I'm in any way saying that that's a good investment. I don't think it is. It was something I did for fun. But the point of the matter is to say that when it comes to SPACs, you get to the party when the party is over. And the worst part about it is not only are you getting to the party late, but you are paying for the damn party. So you done showed up to the party late and paid for the party and didn't even get to enjoy the party. The people who got there early are the ones who enjoying the party. They are partying off of your money. They are partying off the money of the suckers. They are selling these SPACs, putting them out there, making insider sweetheart deals, making themselves rich, And they set up a situation where, see, here's the thing. Here's the thing about investing. If you're a smart investor, one thing you'll try to do is you try to set up deals where you win no matter what. When you see everybody else is speculating, you don't speculate. You position, you regulate. You put yourself in a position where you're going to make money no matter what. When the California gold rush went down, you had all these people that went out to California, looking for gold in their hills, putting it all on the line, all their money going out looking for gold. Maybe 3-4% of them got rich. Then the other 95% got nothing, right? But the people who made money during the California gold rush were not the speculators. It was the people who sold items to the speculators. It was the people who sold food and said, well, after you get done looking for gold in their hills, come stop in my restaurant because you're going to be hungry. Whether you find gold or not, you always going to have to eat. Or Levi sold the jeans and said, okay, you want to go find gold? Let us sell you some blue jeans because these pants are rugged and they can help you get on your knees while you're digging for gold all day. We'll be waiting for you when you come back. You see, so a lot of these SPAC deals, and this is what happens to a lot of athletes, actually. This is why a lot of athletes go broke. The insiders that create these deals set the deals up where they're going to make their money no matter what. One a guy I know who plays in the NBA, played for the Utah Jazz, and he follows this platform, and I can't remember the brother's name, but I met him and I really liked him. He was super smart. I was very proud of this young man. And he told me that when he signed his deal with his management team and with his investment advisors, he said they snuck in so many fees that they were going to take no matter. He said they were going to take these fees whether I made money or not. He said, and they were stunned that I read the contract and was marking out certain fees and saying, I'm not going to pay this. I'm not going to pay that. Right. So that's the thing. That's why financial literacy is really important. One of the most important principles that a Black person can have is that when you understand what's going on, you're not going to get played like a sucker. SPACs can be defined as a Ponzi scheme because a lot of investors get killed for the same reasons that a lot of athletes go broke. When people set up deals for athletes to invest, they set the deals up where they're going to get their money off the top. And then what they do is they come back and they tell Tyrone, hey, sorry, Tyrone, the bowling alley you invested in, it went belly up. So you lost all your money. But when you go back and you look at the fine print, you'll see where that person was taking a salary or taking a fee or getting a big cut of the money and all the way through the entire process. So they walk away like a predator, literally, or a parasite, and literally just go from one victim to the next. Right. And if you are a sucker, like a lot of these athletes, I warn these poor guys. I tell them, look, if you're a sucker who's all caught up in the booty and the bling and the fame and the attention, and you aren't thinking about the money, you're not reading the fine print, you're not taking a look at what's going on behind the scenes, you will get body slammed. You will get economically slaughtered. So do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button, share, subscribe button. If you want to support the channel, you can go to intelligentblackpeople.com. That's where our Patreon is. So feel free to go to intelligentblackpeople.com. So let me just finish up in terms of explaining SPACs. I'm going to read something to you from the Wall Street Journal. While I pull this up, please hit the thumbs up button. Please, please, please. I really would appreciate that very much because I need your support. All right. And I love you very much, and I want to see you win. Okay. So here's what the conclusion. This was a study. This article is written on a site called moneyfortherestofus.com. And one conclusion they make about SPACs is this. They said in 2020, a number of prominent investors and media personalities launched SPACs or are considering doing so. For example, former NBA basketball legend Shaquille O'Neal, along with 3 former Disney executives and one of Martin Luther King Jr.'s sons, plan to launch a SPAC that targets tech and media companies. Other media figures that have plans to lead SPACs or are already doing so are former U.S. House of Representative Speaker Paul Ryan, Oakland Athletics executive Billy Beane, who was featured in the movie Moneyball, blah, blah, blah. A successful SPAC acquisition can lead to a windfall for the SPAC sponsors because as part of the IPO, they get to purchase up to 20% of the outstanding shares for a nominal amount of money, meaning they get to, for a very tiny amount, they get discounts. They get discounts. See, when you get discounts, your margin for error is much greater than when you pay full price. If I pay, if I go to a car lot and all the cars are doubled in price, like the car that normally costs 30,000 is at 60,000. If I pay full price, then I'm gonna get killed. But if I go in there and I say no, the most I will pay for any car is $10,000, and you give me that deal, then I'm gonna be okay. I don't really care what the prices are after that. I don't care how much you drop them. I don't care how much they go up. It doesn't matter. So a lot of times when you buy stock, when you buy in the SPAC, when you're late, you're paying full price. They got their shares at a discount, so they could give a crap less if the shares go up or down, because they're going to make money regardless. Your question is, did I make money or lose money? Their question is, did I make a lot of money or did I make kind of a lot of money? Right? Like, there is no such thing as losing money for these insiders. They have a risk-free investment opportunity where there is literally zero probability in most cases that they're going to lose anything. It says SPAC investing has been less profitable for individual investors. Most SPACs underperform the stock market and eventually fall below the IPO price. Given SPACs' poor track record, most investors should be wary of investing in them unless they focus on investing in pre-acquisition SPACs. So what they're saying is the only way you can make money on the SPAC is if you are an insider. If you are a person that gets in on the deal early, then you can make that money. And that tends to go to the rich and the privileged. And this is an example. This is a situation where, excuse me. Sorry, guys. This is allergy season, so sometimes I got to cough a little bit. This is an example of rigged finance. Like when your grandma and your cousin rerun is telling you that the stock market's rigged and all that, then you can say, yeah, Dr. Boyce says SPACs are very rigged. That's definitely rigged, and I agree with you. But there are other parts of the market that aren't so rigged, and the reason is because there is full disclosure. When we've seen situations happen in the Black community that involved money, lots of money, whether you talk about people raising money for schools or people, they're collecting money for certain events or whatever. The key idea is disclosure. Disclosure kind of solves a lot of problems. When you shine sunlight on something, it kills the fungus and it creates a better environment. So the biggest critique I had with Black Lives Matter and what they were doing with all that money was, I said, you need to disclose everything. Tell us you said you have your biggest donors and you won't tell us who they are. Why? What are you hiding? Usually when people hide things, there's a reason they're hiding things, right? So the SPACs don't give the same level of disclosure, which is why a lot of companies prefer SPACs. They also don't require the lockup period. The lockup period is basically designed to protect investors by ensuring that the insiders have to stick around for a while and lose money with you in case the deal goes bad. If you have a situation where they can jump out of the plane and get with a parachute before the plane crashes, and you sitting on the plane as a passenger thinking y'all going to Tahiti, then you're going to die and they're going to be okay. They sold you a ticket and got off the plane. You are still sitting on the plane as a passenger, trusting the pilot, even though the pilot has already jumped out the plane. Right. So you have to be really careful about situations like that. The actions of insiders matter. And one other interesting thing about SPACs I want to pull up real quick. Let me grab this real quick. This is very interesting. There's actually an academic study on SPACs. Tim Jenkinson and Miguel Sousa identified a profitable way to invest in SPACs. Their strategy was to purchase a SPAC shortly after the IPO and sell it 1 week after the announcement date when the potential merger was announced. The median return for the strategy was 7.6%. So what they're saying is that the only way to make money from SPACs is to buy when they first go public and then sell when the rest of the market is retarded and they go and they spend all this money on this company. So that's one interesting thing in terms of a strategy that they said did actually work. Now digging deeper into this, they said, let me read a little more. Here, let me find something here. The Financial Times analyzed SPAC performance and found that most traded below their IPO prices, underperforming the overall stock market. The authors wrote, the poor investment record of many SPACs is a reminder that when Wall Street pushes a new product, clever financiers invariably find a way to shift most of the risk onto ordinary investors, even if a new generation of SPAC founders believes they will avoid the problems of the past. Now, here's a way to kind of look at that, right? Think about risk like you know, I don't know, like fire or think of it like think of it like fire or something, right? Or you could even think of it maybe like a virus or something, right? But the thing about risk is risk can be moved around. You can shift risk onto yourself or you can push risk onto other people. And one of the reasons that you want your children to be financially literate, like why that should literally be the most important thing you teach them when they're little, is because when they are financially literate, they know how to structure deals in their own favor. They know how to shift the risk onto somebody else. So, for example, a child who's financially literate doesn't grow up thinking, I want to rent me a nice apartment and be a renter for the rest of my life. A kid that's financially literate says, I'll rent for as long as I have to, but eventually I want to become the owner and I want to shift all that burden of payment for this apartment onto somebody else. I'm going to shift the risk. I'm going to shift the work. I'm going to shift all of that onto somebody else, and I want to protect myself, right? So ultimately, what happens with these deals is that you have people on Wall Street that are just really savvy financially. They're super smart, and you're always negotiating with these people. 50 years from now, your children will be negotiating with people like Donald Trump's son Barron, who is going to be extremely financially literate. You know, Trump is a jerk, but he makes sure his kids know finance before they know anything else. And if your child shows up to that negotiation and they are not ready, if they don't know what's going on, or they're focused on the wrong thing, they're going to get body slammed. They're going to get dropped right into slavery. Like, and when I say slavery, I'm not playing. I'm not joking. Capitalism becomes slavery when you're not prepared and you don't understand what's going on. So the best thing I ever did in my life actually was study finance, because I can look at a financial transaction and a deal and kind of know when I'm getting played. But if you want to see the opposite of that, you have a lot of, for example, entertainers. You have like the rapper Megan Thee Stallion, signed a contract, and it was a sucker's contract. And they didn't make her sign it. They didn't force her to do anything. She begged for that contract. So you begged for something that killed you financially, and now you're complaining. You're saying that you were a victim, but were you really a victim, or were you just unprepared? Maybe you were a victim because you got outsmarted. Like if I show up and I try to play in the Super Bowl and I have no pads and I don't know how to throw a football and I don't even know where the end zone's located, then yeah, I'm gonna lose the game. But so maybe I am a victim, but maybe I'm also the perpetrator. Maybe my lack of preparation is just as responsible for me getting killed as the other team was. Can I really blame the other team for scoring as many points for their team as they possibly can? Remember, economics is a team sport, black people. It's a team sport. That's what Powernomics teaches you. And sometimes your team gets last place, not because of just racism, but because your team is not prepared. Are you preparing your children? That's the question you want to ask. So there we go. That's it. That's all I want to say. Hit the thumbs up button, share button, subscribe button on your way out. And those of you who want to know if I'm on Clubhouse, I am on Clubhouse at Dr. Boyce Watkins. Every now and then I pop in there, so feel free to do that. And also allblackeconomics.com. That's where you can get a copy of my book. It Takes a Village to Raise the Bar. So feel free to go there, and you can get a free copy of my book. You can also get some free information from the Black Business School. And also I'll keep you guys posted on my Dogecoin experiment. So far we're losing money on it, but I don't care. I'm making money on so many other things. It was all a joke. But you did vote. I did ask you guys on my Twitter. I said, what should I do next? Should I buy and hold? Should I hold it and wait? Should I buy more, or should I bail? And actually, most of y'all said we should just hold. So since the majority of you said I should hold it, then I'm gonna just hold it, and I'm gonna see what happens. And yeah. So maybe this thing will turn around. So by the way, my Twitter is Dr. Boyce Watkins 1, Dr. Boyce Watkins 1, and I hope you'll follow me on Twitter, because I need some smart black people following me. I'm tired of the idiots. I don't want to address stupid people. I want to talk to smart people. So take care, guys. Have a good day. Love you, and I'll see you soon. Be good. Peace.